Yes, you know the vibes. Welcome back to another live stream. I do want to say, by the way, with the panel that we already have, of course, did you expect us to be on time? Hell no, but you already know the saying, as always. Believe you say, I don't want to.
Lateness is greatness.
Thank you, man. I didn't want to steal your grimmy, but you already know, man. Got Matisse back on the channel again. It's been a while, man. How you been, bro?
It's all good. I actually got the shirt changed just before we were
I was just about to say, are we going to completely ignore that?
Oh shit! Okay, well, the comment down below here that makes perfect sense as well.
Yo,
no
listen.
rest, just like Michael Essien.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the last few weeks it's been tough because obviously we spoke about off air. Like, there hasn't been much going on. We had a couple dead fixtures, but after the two masterclasses from the two wonder kids, Mbappe and Haaland, I'm re-energized. We got Atletico, Man United, Southampton coming up. So yeah, man, 3 streams in a day. We go again. Just what I'm saying. I'm buzzed, man. I got energy.
Damn right. It hasn't been a boring week in the sense of football, but it's only really been a boring week in the sense of Chelsea. But we're still going to be here. We're still going to delve deep into it and try and get a couple discussion topics out there. As usual, I got my boy with me, Craig. What are you saying, bro?
Nothing. Nothing's changed. I've got a window open, just an FYI, so you might get the odd car going past because it's so hot in here. Other than that, I'm all right. Same as always.
Okay,
got a massive lightsaber behind him. What the hell, bro?
It goes around the corner and all.
Yeah, you got to pick up Craig for the background as well. Smash the like and subscribe button, everyone, if you guys haven't done so already. Check out Craig's channel, Matisse's channel. The links are down in the tile below. Literally, just press the button that sends you straight over to their channel. Smash the like and subscribe button. And yeah, let's talk about the week in general, because I think we've seen 2 changings of the guards in the space of a week right now. We've spent the last 10, 12 years doing the dreaded Messi and Ronaldo debate, and it looks like for the next 10 to 12 years we're going to be doing the Erling Haaland versus Mbappe debate. Let's go one game at a time. Let's start with PSG Barcelona. Mbappe, not even just Mbappe, PSG in general. What a performance, and redemption as well for 2016 too. Matisse, we'll start with you.
Yeah, man. Everybody wants to talk about Mbappe, and I'm obviously going to get to him as well. But let's shout out Verratti as well. What a player, man!
Thank God.
Verratti is just so. And do you know what annoys me is that I've only really now seen him at PSG. I need him to make his way over to the Premier League. I need it. So press resistant. His awareness, his passing range, everything is just so good. And I like the fact that he's got a low sense of gravity. He's petite like Kante, but then he's also got the ball playing skills with it as well. And it's just like him weaving in and out of players, attracting the press, much like Mateo Kovacic, able to receive the ball in tight situations and then release it. He's just a joy to watch, man. And he's kind of the player that Barcelona used to have or needed, do you know what I'm saying, in this rebuild. But obviously they decided to shed themselves and go with, you know, bum average players in their rebuild, and they're paying for it. And I'm more than happy to see it. We continue to bring it up as Chelsea fans. I'm still hurt. I still shed tears every night. That game where Iniesta scored, from that moment on, Barcelona can go and screw themselves, bro. I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm ready to see the demise of this football club like no other. So I'm happy. Mbappe absolutely just run amok. It was like a changing of the guard, as they say. There was a great little meme out there with PK chasing Mbappe. I think it was like, yo, Mbappe, I'm going to get your girl. And then PK saying, no, you're not. And he's gone. And the finishes from Mbappe was sick, man. Like, the first one reminded me of Aguero. A couple touches in the box, nibbled a bit, got a bit of room, lethal, left foot finish, like prime Aguero. And then the second one is obviously just fair play to him for the timing, to just know to hold your run and then, you know, wait and be patient. And then it comes back to you, it falls back to you, and you lash it home with your left foot. And then, so that's 2 with his weaker foot. And then the right foot, man, reminiscent of Suarez against PSG when he nuts David Luiz and stuck it in the top corner. Only obviously this is a first-time finish on your hat-trick and he just sticks it in the top corner. That's a man of class, man. Generational. And he sets the standards, like Haaland said in the interview afterwards, which we'll get onto. And he sets the standards. Since he's been at Monaco, then France, and now PSG, he's just running amok, man. And anybody who called him a pace merchant, honestly, just delete your account, fam, because he's more than that. Just delete your account. Do you know what I'm saying? It's stupidness. It's foolishness. He's obviously got the pace, but the decision making, the skill, the finishing, everything, he's got it all. And I feel like 2 nights ago was a big night for him because there was no Neymar, and it was an opportunity for him to prove and show that, listen, regardless of if Neymar's here, if Di Maria's here, I'm going to be Mr. Reliable today, and I'm going to be standing up to be counted. And he did. He performed. So fair play to him, man. He's only, 20 years old? Bloody incredible, man.
Yeah, like he's only been at the top level for about 4 or 5 years at this point, and if you're looking at what he's already achieved and what he stands to achieve, this isn't even peak Mbappe, which is the scariest part. And like you said, it was a team success as well. Verratti always goes very under the radar. Like, I completely forgot about the amazing assist he set up for Kylian Mbappe's first goal, just under the amount of pressure that he had, the ability to lace through that ball to him straight. It was excellent. Yeah. Craigo as well, chat to me. PSG Barcelona, what was your thoughts as well, bro?
I did a watch along for it, so I was watching it intently, and really good, enjoyable game of football to watch, you know, from a neutral point of view. I mean, I agree that, you know, long may Barcelona burn. But I mean, still, it's the same thing with PSG, to be honest. You know, some of the suffer and pain they've caused us over the last 10 years, kind of a similar thing. But I'm going to be the one that's going to say it. Everyone was going, is Mbappe going to have this impact if Neymar's not in? Is this, you know, there's all these different kind of, there are doubters out there. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to be the one to say it. He's better than Neymar. He is better than Neymar. He is better than Neymar. Now, in terms of skills and whatever, I mean, do what you want. But he showed in that performance, especially with the 3 goals, different types of finishes, close control, inside the box, outside the box, in his own half, away from his own half. The guy can do it all, and he's 20 years of age. I'm not saying that he's going to be, you know, again, so many different things can happen in the future. God hope he doesn't get injured and his whole career goes down the toilet and whatever. But I completely agree. I think that this is going to be the debate for the next 10 years, is going to be who of the two is the better one, between him and Haaland. But for me, Mbappe at the moment, I did a thing on TikTok and I put him in my team and everyone went, why did you pick him over Neymar? The guy's got so much potential. And I think with Neymar, you kind of know you're going to get the flicks, you're going to get the tricks, you know what you're going to get. But with Mbappe, he is such an kind of, sounds stupid, but unproven, although he's done so much already in his very young career. Everyone was like, oh, okay, well, let's deal with this and then we'll deal with it. And he goes, oh, you want to deal with the pace? Oh, okay, I'll just go and dribble for you, you know, dribble through 3 of you, all like nice, quick control. It's just lovely. It really is lovely to see. You give him a challenge, he looks like the kind of guy that's going to do it. And obviously, of course, Chelsea missed out on him. But I mean, this is one of the big things about football in general. Is Kevin De Bruyne, when he was at Chelsea, was not the same player when Kevin De Bruyne had come back, you know, to Man City. He had to go at someone like Wolfsburg. He's had that kind of opportunity to get into a real flow and a real form, and now he's in form. He's never going to stop. Same thing with these two guys. Mbappe, when he was at Monaco, they were a good side. They weren't great, but he was the absolute star. And he really got into form and he hit the ground running. And that hitting the ground running is going to continue and continue and continue and continue and continue. And the difference maybe between those two, you know, the future two and the current two, is especially Ronaldo's been out every now and again, but Messi's been injured multiple times and has come back. Let's see if those two can do it at the same time. I think they will. I think they're going to get, I think both of them, give them a challenge, they're going to be able to deal with it. I think they're just superb to watch, both of them. And PSG thoroughly deserve to go through, but it also highlights just how shit Barcelona are now.
Yeah, I wanted to delve into that as well. And I didn't want to go too deep into the tribal side of it because I can't lie, I'm fucking enjoying watching Barcelona burn as well.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Been in my mind every single day since then. It's a literal day ruiner. If I see any mention of Abreu's head or Iniesta with his shirt off, wheeling off down the away end or something, day's done anyway. But let's speak about Barcelona because they've been collapsing for a good couple years now.
Yeah,
we've had a little hint of what it's like to just have poor transfer management in terms of bringing players in and out of the club. But I think Barca scares me in the state that they're in right now because that's also low-key where we would have been if we kept, because we're lucky we had this like poor transfer activity for only the space of 2-3 years. Barca have been making poor moves for 5-6 years, and combined with big game bottle jobs year in and year out like they've had, it's just there's a lot of anxiety mentally and in terms of the state of the team around the entire club as well. Matisse, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, they've been declining for years, and their transfer policy's just been a mess, man. I mean, they're signing. Who is this striker that came on, number 9, Braithwaite? What is that, a bread company? Is that a type of bread? What is that, bro, in the bakery section? I don't understand what they're doing. Like,
he's been here for 2 seasons as well now.
How does a player like that touch Barcelona Football Club? Like, what is actually going on? The Griezmann transfer, you're signing a player that's, you know, touching near 30 now, and you bring him in to play with Suarez and Messi. Where was he going to play? Like, have you watched Griezmann? Where was you going to play him? Where was you going to operate him? I don't understand where the balance was going to be struck. The way that they treated Suarez and the way that he left the club so viciously, and there was no send-off, there was nothing, there was a lack of class. Teams, I don't want to drag Arsenal into this, but there's always teams that speak about class. Barcelona speak about class. Arsenal speak about class. And then you don't show it because what happened? Like, where did it go? The Xhaka made a finger to the Suarez departure. Like, these guys like to speak about class, but they don't have it anymore. The way that they treated Suarez on his way out, they just deserve everything that's coming to them. And look at Suarez now, top goal scorer for Atletico Madrid, top of the league, and Party left, and look what happened to him. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you, people. Do you know what I'm saying? Suarez was an amazing player for them. You know, so was Neymar. They let him go. Of course, they couldn't keep him. But I think Barcelona have just shown how squad planning is, how important it is. They haven't done that. Even from the days where they were signing Prince Boateng, Paulinho. Like, what the hell, man? What is that? Like, they're linked with Rudiger. They're linked with Willian. And I'm meant to take these men seriously, bro. I'm more than happy for this demise. They've had it a long time coming. Then there's no planning going on there. It's really all just Messi covering up every flaw in their structure from top to bottom. And I'm glad it's getting exposed now that he can't carry them any longer. And I was saying this on Rance's channel as well. How can you continue to like, you should have saw that Neymar was the next guy, or you should have found the next guy, and you should have tried to pass it on. I remember when Ronaldinho was at Barcelona, he saw Messi was the next guy, and he passed the torch, and then the success continues. You have to understand when to pass the torch, or at least prepare to pass the torch. And they haven't put anyone around Messi to say, right, this is the next guy. They just rode it until the wheels fall off.
Hasn't he wanted to leave?
He
wanted to leave in the summer, didn't he?
Messi doesn't even want to be there because he can see that the structures. He basically runs that club, and as great as he is, he's the GOAT, right? You should never let a player run your club. You should be able to foresee that you need to go in a different direction. You need to prepare for the next gen. You need to prepare for the next team. You should be building a young team around him. And yes, he's still got the influence, but you need to be ready for when he departs, and they're not ready. So if he departs this summer, which he might do, who have they got? They've got nothing. They're literally bare bones. How do you bring in De Jong, an up-and-coming Dutch midfielder, and then you bring in Pjanic and you get rid of Arthur? What is that? What is that? Like, how am I meant to logically understand what's going on there? I can't put that together. That's a puzzle that don't make sense. You've just combined two different puzzles, two different jigsaws, and asked me to put them together. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going through financial troubles, then get your scouting up. What happened to the youth system as well? Like, bring them through. Of course, they've brought in Fati and these man, but they've left it too late. This is my point. I remember when Barcelona were at their peak, but then they were allowing man like Thiago to slip through the cracks and go. They were allowing so many young players to go, and it was like, well, they wasn't really developing any young players as well. And I was like, where's the next crop? And now it's catching up on them. There isn't really enough. They've got now Fati, who's very young, but they haven't got anybody in the middle. There's no 24, 25-year-olds. There's been a gap, and that's where the lack of squad building has come. So I'm more than happy to see it, man. But their transfer policy is mad. From the Griezmann transfer to Coutinho transfer, splashing 150, 40 M's on these players.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. I've got
Dembele as well.
Dembele, man. And then the injuries.
54 mil. Griezmann 108 mil. De Jong 77 mil, but that's a decent transfer. Nothing wrong with that. Malcolm 36, Coutinho 130, Dembele 126. Players like Paulinho and Nelson Semedo coming in as well for overpriced fees. Andre Gomez, Alcacer, Arda Turan.
Remember Malcolm as well? Malcolm from Bordeaux.
Yeah, I think he was meant to be going the other way in that potential Willian deal in 2017. It was him or Arta. I think it was
Malcolm. Yeah, it was Malcolm. Their transfers has been a joke. I don't know what happened with their scouting team, but they've lost the plot, bro. It's been great to watch, though.
I don't know what's happened with Barcelona. Low-key, I feel like they were holding a lot of their hopes for the future on having Neymar still in the squad, but then that eventually didn't happen. He found his way to PSG, and it's just all collapsed from there. But their activity was looking a bit dodgy before that period as well. And the fact that you have 220 million plus and you've just bombed it like that. I mean, fair play as Chelsea, we can't really talk. We had that dreadful 17-18 transfer window. We probably spent the exact same issue. But we haven't done that consistently in the amount of years that they have. They've just continuously been making mistake after mistake. Gregor, what's your thoughts?
You get away with doing it once or twice. You let one of your players slip through the net. You get away with it, but it still costs you in some capacity. Everyone seems to forget that every action in football has some sort of a consequence. It always comes with a little bit of context with it. One person leaves, okay, it's one of those ones, could have had him in the future, whatever. We move on. That's just maybe our mistake. Okay. But, I mean, you look at it now, Thiago was, Christ, how many years ago was that? About 4 years ago, 5 years ago now? Thiago slipped through the net for them? Might have even been longer.
That was 2012-13.
Was it really? Fun.
Yeah, that was a while back.
Okay, so quite a while ago then. Fair enough. But, I mean, you look at it now. I mean, if we were all mega minted footballers, would you want to go to Barcelona? Do you see a project there? Do you see anything that you would really aspire to want to go and be a part of? I don't fucking think so. I mean, the idea is you play with Messi. That's the bottom line. Is you play with Messi and that's the nice little novelty piece. Which for certain players, hey, that's their career. That's what they want to go and do. Fair enough. But I mean, they haven't brought anyone that's stuck, like properly stuck, like have to be in the team week in, week out. Probably the Young's the closest one. But other than that, I mean, Griezmann's hot and cold. He didn't do anything the other night, and he was meant to be one of the. I think he was the second highest transfer fee on the pitch, or third highest transfer fee on the pitch. The other night, didn't do anything, had no impact whatsoever. They're so obsessed with almost going forward and looking at the market for going forward, because forward sell shirts, the business side of things makes sense. They've been a club that's funked it for themselves pretty much in terms of transfers and whatever in terms of success on the pitch. So they have to think about the money that's going to come in. They sign all these forward players, great, but they kind of have this assumption that the likes of a PK and the likes of a Puyol and the likes of various different other ones that are young Spanish players are going to go, I want to play for Barcelona because they are the best that there are. And everyone with any sort of sense is going, fuck that. Fuck that. I mean, if you were to pick between the two, Real Madrid, Barcelona, unless you've got any sort of allegiance for one for the other, you probably of the two pick Real Madrid because at least they've got a little bit more kind of history around it. They're glittered. Barcelona for a few years didn't really, challenge the way that they have over the last 10, 20 years, whatever. But Real Madrid have always kind of consistently been in and around it. So you kind of look at the form and go, oh, okay, well, Barcelona dominated it for quite a while. Real Madrid come back and won 4 Champions Leagues in, was it 3 Champions Leagues, 4 Champions Leagues in
3 and 4 years, I think.
3 and 4 years, right. So 3 and 4 years. At least you can say that. But the last time Barcelona won it was 2015. 6 years ago. They ain't going to win it this year either. So we're now looking at 7 years ago. The biggest and best club in the world, apparently, hasn't won the Champions League in 7 years. We haven't won it in 9. And we are miles away from Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit nuts. I don't get why you would want to go there. I mean, I'm a big fan of, I don't know if you can see that there. I do like Barcelona. Big fan of Cruyff. Big fan of Cruyff. Got his book in here. Love him. Love the style of football that Barcelona have played for many, many years. Don't like the personnel, which is why I want them to suffer and burn. But still, I mean, the matter of the fact is they do play really good football, and they have not played really good football and really shown anything that makes anyone go, wow, for probably the last 6 years. They've never really stunned us.
Around about that, but part of it is the personnel and the fact that they just kept a massively aging squad. Like, you look at the defense, it's just full of issues as well. Los Colchoneros, I see your question. We're going to save that for the end of the show, so don't worry, we're definitely going to come back to that. Let's move on to the next game. What was it? Sevilla versus Dortmund. And I was interested for this match as well because we faced Sevilla previously in the group stage, and I wanted to see how Sancho and Haaland would both adapt to that match as well, because we've been linked with a pair of them. There's rumours that at least one of the two is going to be leaving in the summer. Not sure whether it's going to be Haaland or Sancho, but there's been rumours linking us to either one of the pair as well. And let's talk about Erling Haaland, because that's literally what the title of the show is about as well. And what an absolute unbelievable striker in every sense of the word. Every time this guy gets a sniff of the chance, it's in the back of the net. And there's so many words that you can use to describe this guy and his link-up play as well, which I want to talk about, which is a really underrated aspect of his game too. But Matisse, we'll go to you because I know you spent all day talking about Haaland as well, so you have the perfect words to describe him. So Matisse, go for it, bro.
Man, it's just a couple of Chelsea loanies doing business on another night in Europe. Haaland and Sancho. Do you know what I'm saying? They're just Cobham boys doing their thing. It's good to see. We keep it moving. I mean, man, Haaland was incredible. Like, and it's just nothing short of what you expect from him, because just look at his performances this season. His stats are to die for. He's scored more Champions League goals than he's played games. Bundesliga, he's scoring every game. Basically, I think he's got a goal every 77 minutes or something. 50% conversion rate. The stats are ridiculous. I don't know them off by heart, but they are unbelievable. And the thing is, as well, with him is that he's so clinical, so confident in himself. But the way that he does his off the ball work as well, that is very important for the modern game and the way the game is going from a striker. He's got the Ibrahimovic persona in terms of the stature, in terms of the confidence, but he doesn't have the arrogance on the pitch to not work hard off the ball. He presses, he makes sure that he gets stuck in, he makes sure that he presses for his team and occupies the right zones. For the first goal, where he got the assist as well, we talk about that. From the right-hand side, he loves to get involved in the build-up. People keep thinking that he's just a poacher. You need to watch him more. He is always trying to get involved in the build-up. He might not look the cleanest. He might not look like Sergio Aguero or Luis Suarez, but he's very efficient. He's like a rhino running at you when he gets there. He loves to run from deep. A lot of his goals are from him running from deep, and he's already got the run on the defender, and then he's in the box and he positions himself correctly and he scores. He's always he's ahead of the curve, always. That build-up for the first goal, fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Got on the ball, shielded it, quickly, gave it short. He's not like Harry Kane where he's going to put a 50-yard ball. He's not going to switch play. He hasn't got that dynamic in his passing, but he's going to get a hold of the ball, hold it up, and he's going to give it short, and then he's going to run. And he gets his head down and he runs into the box. He doesn't receive it, and obviously they score. But that's what he does. He is so big on getting into the box after he's delivered the pass. And that's what I love. The ambition and the drive to get in the box and be where it matters. Be where it matters. That is the key. And, he's got the heading ability. He's got the finishing. The goal that he scored, the second goal, was such a cold finish, man. Just strokes it into the back of the net. And he's done that. He's done that for the last few years. And he's done that at Salzburg. So what I love about him is his mentality. You saw after the game, you saw the interview. He's speaking about how Mbappe gave him the fuel to come out and show his stuff. And that's what you want to see. That is exactly what you want to see. So I can't speak highly enough of him. I think he's exactly what we need. There was a couple polls going around on Twitter where people were saying, would you take Mbappe or Haaland? I think both of them are absolute stars in the making. It's really about what your team needs. And I think Chelsea have enough creative wingers. They have enough runners. But what you don't have is a focal point who is just clinical and is a killer and doesn't take no for an answer. Is no mercy. Every time he scores, he's talking about how he needs to score more. It's like there's something wrong. There's something very wrong. He's not normal, bro. He's a robot. Like you see,
literally, because I'm looking at him and I'm laughing half the time because it's like this guy cannot be real.
He can't be.
He can't be serious.
If you was to go into a lab and you was to make a striker, I know it's been said before, but it's facts. You'd make Erling Haaland. The mentality, the Harry Kane like clinical finishing, the work ethic off the ball, and the fact that he's young and he's willing to improve. The only sheg is his agent. But with a player like that, with a mentality like that, and then his dad as well is around him, I feel like the agent can only do so much to mess him up. Of course, you're gonna have to pay those heavy agent fees, but I don't think Raiola's the kind of guy. I think Raiola his personality matches what his client would accept from him. And I don't think Haaland's going to allow him to run amok, do you know what I'm saying, and say things in the media and whatnot. He seems like he's got his head screwed on. The Dortmund move was so smart. He was at Salzburg. He could have went to Premier League or something. He was smart. Went to Dortmund, where young players get a chance. Went to a league where you're going to get that space to run into. And he's taking full advantage. But what he's doing on the Champions League stage is another level. And I'm just looking at the way that his finishing technique is, and I'm thinking to myself, the awareness in the box. I'm thinking you're built for the Premier League, man. You ain't really missing much there. The physical presence is just alarming. Like I said, he's a rhino running at you, man. It's unstoppable.
That's the thing for me as well, because I look at Erling Haaland, the thing that strikes him out to me the most, even compared to our past attackers, well, recent past attackers, other than being clinical, of course, because we're literally saying that is the one thing that this team is not that we need to be, which is clinical. But it's the shape and size of him as, if you want to talk about what a proper Chelsea striker is, in my opinion, it's these tall animals. I love Timo Werner. But these smaller strikers making runs in behind is not really our kind of strike. We can make it work because same way with Haaland, Werner gets involved the build-up play a lot more, and his overall game is still good enough to accommodate for that. But Erling Haaland, he fits more like that Drogba or that Diego Costa model, obviously to what could potentially be an even higher standard. But he fits a similar build in terms of that raw animal that feels more like a Chelsea type of striker if you're going to talk to me about philosophies or talking about continuing legacies.
I kept saying it. Timo Werner's not an out-and-out striker. He's a hybrid. He's not a winger and he's not a lone forward. Everybody in the start of the season had him penciled for lone striker, Pulisic left, Ziyech right. He's not a lone striker. He's best in the position that he's in right now, left forward, second striker, whatever you want to call it, just behind a main man and running off of him and making those runs into the channel. And that's where Erling Haaland comes in, where he is that striker. He is that old-fashioned number 9. But he gets involved in the build-up. He presses. He's honestly the perfect striker for this league and the perfect striker for Chelsea because it's the mentality and the way that he leads from the front. Like, he's one of them guys. I don't want to make this comparison in terms of playing style because he's nothing like him. But in terms of when you're in the tunnel and you look to the right and you see an Erling Haaland or you see an Henry or you see a Drogba in a cup final, these are the type of players where if they look back at you, you're like, nah, it's not going to run today, is it? It's not going to be the day. They strike fear into your core before you've even stepped out on the pitch. Haaland don't smile, bro. And and when he is smiling, it looks like as if he's mugging you off. There's something about his face when he's talking to interviewers. Like the one last night, I feel for these interviewers sometimes because they're just shook. You know what I mean? He looks like as if he's ready to deck you, but he's always calm. But he just looks like he's on edge, ready to flip at any moment. He's wild, man. I love him.
Exactly that. And Monster, first off, welcome to the show as well. We haven't properly introduced you. Yeah, what are you saying, man? How's the week been?
You lot hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
It's been all right, you know. Like, obviously, I'm happy that where Chelsea are. I mean, I think we're all happy where Chelsea are right now, isn't it? And the season's turned around. You know, I guess the call to unfortunately sack Frank Lampard was probably the right call. Obviously, as you lot are talking about the Champions League, we saw Haaland, we saw Mbappe just absolutely dominate. To me, Chelsea now have to do everything in their power to go and get the kid. Do you know what I mean? If it's 120 mil, go pay that. Like, go and pay it. Like, bruv, like the guy is probably top 2, top 3 best strikers in Europe right now. I think he is anyway. He's outperforming his XG. He's just banging goals left, right, and center. He can set up goals as well, as you saw yesterday, innit? The guy is just an absolute just phenom, innit? Like, and no one can tell me that is he gonna work in the Premier League? That's just nonsense. You know what I mean? He will work in the Premier League. I think Chelsea need to go and get him now. In this transfer window, no one's going to try and buy him. Everyone's going to wait for his release clause. So I think it's a perfect time for Chelsea to say, all right, cool, we got 100 to 120 mil. Boom, slap it on the table. We want to take him off your hands. And I'm pretty sure Dortmund will not turn that down.
That's the thing. The thing we have with this Haaland deal as well is apparently we were already in for him. I think back in the Salzburg days, but it was agent fees and the wages that I think held us back, which at the very least means the stage is low-key set. If those wage fees were an issue back then, I think he's answered a lot more questions as a striker that now you could be like, okay, so you now are probably worth this sort of money that you're calling for anyway. Even if Raiola's going to sit there and probably take the piss a little bit because he's Raiola and he probably will. You know what? This one, I'd probably let him have it because this is a caliber of striker that is worth that sort of drama, in my opinion. And if anything, like you said, Haaland's already driven in his own ability in himself. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. Craiger, speak to us about Haaland as well. Any other thoughts that we haven't already spoken about? And also, who do you think leaves in response to Haaland coming in as well, because we can easily talk about bringing him in, but we also have to look at the oversaturation of our squad in general. That's not even in terms of our attacking prospects, but the squad as a whole. We're probably going to have to sell some players in order to try and raise the profits in general. We probably do have the profits anyway, but we're not just looking for Haaland. We're still looking for another centre-back. We're probably going to be looking for a fourth winger as well. There's maybe a natural DM too, because we've been calling for that as well. So who ends up leaving in order to finance all of this as well? Because we've got funds, but we ain't got that sort of funds still.
That's a very long and complex question, that one there, Lewis.
Yeah, I had to be for a few minutes, but go on anyway. It's a lot to divulge into.
The one thing I was going to say whilst Matisse was talking is Haaland screams, "Oh, fuck factor." That is literally him. If you're going up against him, same thing. You see him in the tunnel, you go, "Oh, fucking hell." You think it would be fine, but then you see him, and it's just going to be a nightmare. The guy screams Ibrahimovic. The guy screams Ibrahimovic. The things that he's doing now at such a young age, we only got to see Ibra in the Premier League and the kind of final stage of his European kind of success, shall we say. Obviously now we're back at Milan, he's doing his bits and whatever, but you kind of got him for a year and it was a bit like, oh, okay, well, this guy's clearly very good, but we're getting a guy that could be the next Ibrahimovic when he's 19 rather than when Man United got him when he was like 33, 34, whatever it was. Very different players in terms of ages, but what they will achieve in football, it is that same level. I mean, the guy is an absolute freak. He scores goals. Chelsea's best success, I said it on a stream a few weeks ago with you, was Hasselbank, Drogba, Costa. This goes on. Bigger centre forwards, bigger strikers. And that's something we haven't had for a while, pretty much since Diego Costa. And even then, we only got 2 years really of Costa. The middle one was a bit of a shambles. But we've always done better, and even now at the moment, Giroud, we play I think a lot better football when Giroud, the bigger physical striker, plays because there's a little bit more success. Obviously, vastly different to Drogba and such conversation, but Giroud is like a sample of what you can get. I remember going to uni open day many years ago now, UCFB, and they asked me the question: is Paul Pogba worth 89 million quid? And everyone went no. And they proved it. Said, well, he's going to sell shirts. He's going to make your team a hell of a lot more interesting to watch. Everything is going in favour of signing Paul Pogba in that case. It's the exact same thing with Erling Haaland. Go and pay 100 million. Go and pay 120 million because you will get it back. You will get it back. Because the same thing with Kai Havertz. It's a decent investment to go and gamble on. If it don't work out, you're still going to have made 40, 50 million quid, even if you don't work out after a year. You're going to have made so much money because of one guy, and everyone's going to try and want to come around him and go, oh, yeah, I want a piece of that action. Now, obviously, it depends on what sort of a shirt Nike put out next year. But if it's quite nice, and then people can go and buy Haaland number 9 or whatever number, I don't know, on the back of it, everyone's going to go, oh, yeah, hang on, now I'm listening. Yeah, let's go and do that. And you become a proper sports market. Same thing with Neymar when he went to PSG. Lovely shirt. Really, really nice shirt that year. And even the away one was gorgeous. Neymar 10, everywhere. Exactly the same thing, all over the place. That's what we should aspire to be. It's not what we are at the moment, but that's what we should aspire to be. If we can buy Haaland now for 100 million quid or whatever it be, 120 million euros or whatever the fee is that they want, pay it. You're going to have to move people on. Next part of your question. I mean, there was a lot of dead wood at Chelsea. A lot of, we've got a very inflated squad, and I've said that for quite a while. Do need to move some people on. I'll be honest with you, it sounds bad, and people are going to hate me. Wouldn't probably even be against Tammy leaving, depending on how much money we could get for him. It comes down to that level.
For me, that's more based on the contract extension, whether he actually extends or not.
Yeah. See, this is the thing with it. If we're talking purely about players, Haaland is better than Tammy. Haaland was also younger than Tammy.
Can I just ask as well? Because when a lot of you guys say dead wood, I don't think a lot of our players are necessarily dead wood. I think Tuchel's shown they're not necessarily just dead wood.
Oh.
I think the problem is with Frank Lampard, he wasn't able to maneuver his squad as much as you see Tuchel doing right now. So it made us look like we've got a lot of deadwood players. Like, think about it. these guys are ex-champions, Premier League champions, Europa League champions, Kovacic a Champions League champion and La Liga champion. If you're able to utilize your squad to its full potential, maybe they're not necessarily deadwood players. I don't know. I just feel.
I hear you, but there's still players in this team, and it's not really too if I'm looking at my sell list, it hasn't really changed. It hasn't changed because I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, okay, Alonso's playing well now, Rudiger's playing well now, but they can switch it on and switch it off, and they can have individual errors. I'm trying to see Thiago Silva. That's the level. That's the level of defender that I'm aspiring for. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see Ashley Cole. I'm trying to see the levels again. Alonso.
They talk about like Ashley Cole, the greatest probably left back ever in the Premier League, that is, and then Thiago Silva, probably the best or one of the best centre backs with Sergio Ramos in the past 10, 15 years.
100%. But as we've seen now, we could have said the same thing about Messi, Ronaldo, and it's not like Haaland and Mbappe won't probably reach that height in terms of eclipsing them. But there's always a cycle in football. There's always the next one, and you have to try and strive and have the ambition to reach those levels. If you say
we
to
got
yourself,
to get him 100%.
Yeah, if you say to yourself, we're never going to find another John Terry, we're never going to find another Ashley Cole, then you definitely won't. If you try and find that and don't settle for just good players who can switch on and switch off, there's too many flaws and fundamental issues in Alonso's game. There's too many flaws and fundamental issues in Rudiger's game for them to be long-term successes at this football club. If we're trying to win a Champions League, not in a lucky way, but actually in a way where we actually dominate European football like a Real Madrid did, then I'm trying to see the best ballers in town. I'm not trying to see a brother that can pass but then can put it out of touch. I'm not trying to see a brother that doesn't have the pace, because you're going to get exposed on the big stage. They're doing well now, and it's fantastic with the fixtures that we've had. But when these brothers start touching Gnabry in the Champions League, it's a different ball game once again, and we know what's going to happen. It happens time and time again. They do the business. They do the business to a good standard. Remember that Conte season they won the Prem? He wasn't in the Champions League. They do the business against the teams they should to a good standard, and we pattern the Prem. Fantastic. But Europe's elite, the elite wingers and the elite attackers, we're talking about Haaland and Mbappe. I'm not trying to see Rudiger go up against these brothers. I'm not trying to see Christensen go up against these brothers. It's going to take more than a bit of tricky Tuchel, tremendous Tuchel. It's going to take more than Tuchel's tricky blues for 5 games doing the madness for me to turn a corner on these players. They're going to have to produce a minimum of maybe a season and a half of consistent top form at the top level for me to change my opinion. Because I'm not trying to see this club just once again, because I know the politics that have happened behind closed doors. So as much as we blame Frank Lampard, I know the bullshit that's gone on. I'm not trying to see that under Tuchel. So do your thing now. Get these brothers moving to the top 4, and then the same thing for me. You still need to cut these same dons in the summer and refreshen up this squad and make sure that this squad is ready to compete.
What I'm trying to say is like, okay, what we're doing right now is we're getting these players value up. Do you know what I mean? Right now they're all playing well. They continue this way. Chelsea get a high position, could be 4th, 3rd, 2nd. These players, the value is going to be high. Chelsea's going to be able to bin some of them. Now, there's no guarantee we're going to be able to bin every single one of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, come next season, some of them might not be there. Some of them might not be there. Some of them might be there, and we're just going to have to deal with them while they're here, innit? And that's where I think kind of Frank Lampard went a bit wrong, where he just tried to isolate all of them, man, out, and then tried to stick to the kind of just the same tiny group of, let's say, 11, 12, 13 players when he had a whole squad, innit? But in terms of like getting Haaland, to me, Chelsea, like you said, Chelsea have to get an Erling Haaland. It's a must. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's an absolute must. We have to go out there and do what we did with Kai Havertz and get in there early before anyone else can and bring him in, because he could take us to another level. Do you know what I mean?
It's like what you said is spot on. It's like AVB.
Yeah.
When you've got, even though he was mad for trying to even rub out those players, like
trying to get rid of all of them.
You're trying to rub out the spine that went on to win the Champions League, but cool.
Well, they're still there.
Do your thing. You know what I mean? There's certain things that are just pure stupidity. But if you've got a bloated squad and you don't like half of them, brother, be fake. Give them cuddles, give them kisses. Just what I'm saying. Make sure you use them sparingly when you have to. Keep everybody on side until you can go back into the market. You have to use your brain. And when reports are coming out, you don't talk to a brother for a couple months. You're shegging yourself. You're putting yourself in the bin. Just what I'm saying. You are. This is why I apportion blame to both sides.
I think with the Rudiger situation, I think him and Rudiger made up because remember.
Yeah, I thought that was quite public. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Frank Lampard that dropped. Everyone's complaining about Kurt Zuma, but it was Lampard that dropped Rudiger. Dropped Zuma for Rudiger.
Yeah, but the thing with that is that it felt more like a board decision, and a lot of these things, like even though we're playing well, I'm still seeing things that kind of feed into that idea. Like we're seeing those same rotation players who were the board is saying wanted to get pushed more into side, back into side. Kovacic is back into the side. Kepa, like after the statistically worst goalkeeper in Premier League history, is coming back in for a Premier League game when we are 2 points off getting back into the top 4.
That was mad.
And there's no way that was a tactical decision because the Barnsley game wasn't that good. And if it was that good, it's still just Barnsley.
Yeah.
So
that's Marina. That's Marina, who's very. I mean, there's a reason why she's one of the top negotiators in the world. But when she gets it wrong, she's stubborn in the fact that she won't just cut her losses, and she can't. She has to answer to Rome. Yo, you just spent 72 million on this Don, and you handed him a 7-year deal, and he's not starting under any of the managers. What's up? Like, how are you meant to walk onto Don Roman's yacht and do a PowerPoint presentation on how Kepa don't start when you shed 72 million and gave him a 7-year contract? She can't pull out that Microsoft sheet. There's no way. So the only thing you can do is try and get the value back. And the only way to do that is for him to play in some of these little games where you can be like, okay, we might be disrespecting Newcastle here, but who are we going to disrespect, Newcastle or Atletico? You got to pick. So we're going to play him against Newcastle and we're going to take that risk. We need to get this money. You know what I'm saying? Tuchel came out and he said, listen, Mendy's still number 1. What does that tell you? That tells you that brother was like, okay, cool. Mendy's 1, but I need to play Kepa, or I need to make him feel a little bit more involved. I got a big squad. I got a goalkeeper who's on 200 plus grand a week. I have to make him feel part of it at least. And no one came in for him over January, so that just goes to show, like, if he's not worth 72 million. No 72 million goalkeeper who's even worth half that. Nobody comes in for him January on a loan. Come on now, something's wrong. So you have to get him into the team and make people remember him again in Europe. So someone comes in for him. Otherwise, we'll be stuck with him next season as well. So there's a lot of politics going on. It's wild. And I think Tuchel's dealing with it very well. And I think he's done the right thing. As much as it's annoying, but at the same time, you have to involve some of these senior guys because you have to get top 4 and you need everyone pulling in the same direction. And at the end of the day, these guys are on bigger wages. They drive fancier cars. They've won more trophies. And it's a pyramid scheme. And it's never going to, it's always been there at Chelsea. The only difference before is it was world class at the top of the pyramid scheme. It was your Lampards, John Terry's, Drogba's. So you let it run. Now it's your Rudigers, Alonso's, and it's wild. But this is the case. It's a pyramid scheme. And you have to, sometimes as a manager, you have to be smart about it and say, right, let me get to the end of the season and see if I can take out a couple pieces of the jigsaw. But it's going to take time, man. Like,
can I ask a question very quickly?
Yeah.
3 centre midfielders, Kovacic, Kante, Jorginho. The likelihood is one of them will have to get sold to try and fund some sort of money for Haaland. Which one goes, in your opinion?
That's
it'll probably be Jorginho.
Probably will be.
I mean,
he's getting a contract extension as well, but I don't really see Jorginho coming in and staying for 5 years, and that don't really mean anything when we literally gave David Luiz a contract extension. And he was the first one that we gave a 2-year deal to as well.
Yeah.
First over 40 player that we did that to. So contract extensions don't mean anything, but Kovacic as a player in general, like, we'd take him out the list anyway. He's staying.
Yeah.
Kante, like, there's questions over whether he's still past his best, but I still think there's a lot that he can offer this Chelsea side. Jorginho, I've always said this, and I really love the remontada that we're seeing from Jorginho this year. But same way, I've always said, and I still stand by it, Billy Gilmour, man. Billy Gilmour's good enough to slot into that gap. And if he hasn't already, really, you don't think that?
No.
No, I can't lie. Off what I have seen personally, I do think he's at that level. But
the number one thing is we haven't seen a whole season of Billy Gilmour yet. A whole season. You lot are willing to risk this Chelsea side on the head.
I'm not.
on the
not.
arms.
These
Okay,
man are. These
But
man
if
are.
you're
Don't
willing
bring
to
me
risk-
into this shit.
you're willing to risk the fate of this team on a how old is he? 19 years old. Like, you've not seen a body of work from him to say, he's ready. He's
This
ready.
is what
Yeah.
we need.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
please.
come on. Like,
If two, Fam,
to me, it's like, bruv, I saw it in the Barnsley game. I saw it last season. Like, I remember last season, a lot of people like, listen, we can sell off Kante or Jorginho. Billy Gilmore's ready. And at that time, they'd only seen him against Liverpool and Everton. Football does not work that way. You know what I mean? Let this guy, if we're going to give him 10, 15 games, maybe a season, 20 maybe, for the next 2 years, and we'll know, innit? But to bin off Jorginho and that right now and say, all right, let's use Gilmore, he's not ready. He hasn't even had one full season. He hasn't. You lot have seen him in the occasional Premier League game and a couple FA Cup games, and all of a sudden you think he's ready? Come on, bro.
See,
It's still the
I
case
still
of which one out the three goes, though. But that's
For
why I
me-
think it would probably be Jorginho. Because
For
not to
me-
say he'll start every single game for us either, but same way, you could sell Jorginho and you could have somebody similar there. With Kante,
Go on,
I
give
don't
me
really
someone
feel
else
like
on my side.
if the only one that would be similar to Kante at the most part, you'd say would be Mateo Kovacic, where in the fact that they're both ball progressors. So that's where that would make sense. But with Jorginho, I feel like it makes more sense out of the three, he'd be the one that leaves.
For me, very simple answer. Whoever the hell Tuchel wants. Simple as that. Whoever he wants to sell, he sells. Because as far as I'm concerned, I tweeted this a while ago and it wasn't popular. I think both of them will get replaced at some point. Do you know what I'm saying?
Kovacic and
Jorginho
Kante.
and,
No, for me, it will be. I said a while ago that Jorginho and Kante, both of them can be replaceable. Do you know what I'm saying?
Completely agree.
And that was very unpopular. And I've been saying for a while, on his day, Kante is world class, but he doesn't need to play every game. He is slightly declining as well, and he doesn't fit into every single situation that we're coming up against. You put yourself in a position. I never liked him really at lone DM. I had to get used to it, and he put some good performances there. But then it showed against Arsenal, Man City again. That wasn't him. And Tuchel comes in, and immediately he's talking about Kante double six. That's what I want to hear.
Think, Matisse, don't you think Lampard, Sarri, these guys have not necessarily put Kante in the best of situations to succeed, whereby they've overused him over and over again.
Overused him. Yeah.
Look at the final against Arsenal in the Europa League. We were winning 4-1. All right, take him off, let him go. Take some rest. But he used him. Lampard as well rinsed him dry.
Yeah.
The City game where people were complaining was Kante's fault. Kante should have never been there by himself. Everyone was up. Kante was the last man in. When the ball came to him, all he could do is either play out for a throw or get it back in the box, which he tried to get it back in the box. And obviously it led to a counter-attack in it. But they've not necessarily put him in the best position to succeed. I think he's been overused. It's been quite horrible.
I 100% agree with you. He is a player that we use and abuse. Like I said, it's like a sponge. And when you use the sponge enough in the kitchen and it starts to get dirty, bro, get a new sponge. Rinse it out. Give it a rest, bro. Swap it out. But these guys...
That's why, you know what, Matisse, when people are saying like, oh, why is Kante not playing, blah, blah, I'm like, bro, I'm happy he's not playing. Give the man some rest time. I like the way right now, Tuchel's just bringing them off the bench the last 10 minutes or whatever. Let the man proper build up. Because when people were saying throw him in against Sheffield, you're like, bro, he's been out for over a month. He's not even match fit yet. He's not match sharp. And we saw it in the next game. I think it was in the FA Cup that he wasn't match fit. He wasn't match sharp. You have to build up his fitness and give him some time to proper recover and things like that. So I like the way Tuchel's handling him anyway, innit?
I like it as well.
The best of Kante in very soon. Just give it some time.
I like it as well, and he's a player that we may need against Atletico Madrid. That type of player, that's when you need Kante for, not against Sheffield United or something like that. I mean, you can afford to. My thing is, I've always said this: every other team in the world don't have Kante. They play football, so figure out a way to play football without Kante. Most of the time, this fan base, it feels like, whenever Kante's there, we have to play him. Have to play him. Why? Who told you that? Every other team on this planet don't have Kante. They still play football and win games, and they're better than us. Some of them. So how have you got it into your brain where you can't survive without Kante? We come with these preconceived starting 11s in our head, and then nothing changes from that. And this player has to be in. Nobody has
We're
to
too
be in.
used to the one team mentality, one player mentality.
Yeah, nobody
How's
has to be in,
FC
bro.
still coming back?
Nobody has to be in. Nobody has to be in. If it don't make sense, it don't happen. Jorginho and Krover have been playing well in that pivot, and at some point, someone's going to drop off form, and Kante will go in, and I'm sure he'll do a good job. I like him in the double six. I didn't like him lone DM, and I think in that right side of the three, I'm happier than lone DM. But then when he's in the final third, he did work on it, but he's not an attacking midfielder. Do you know what I mean? Double six, I've always said it. That is prime Kante. Whether it's next to Matic, next to Drinkwater, the only thing I'll say is that we don't have the perfect partner for him in that double six currently in the squad.
Yes.
We don't have a physical specimen, or we don't have someone that can reliably on a regular basis pass from deep over the top and take that responsibility off of him. I know Jorginho gets on the ball and he passes it, but he doesn't unlock defenses often enough. He's not Fabregas.
But that's why I feel like it'll be
one
Jorginho that's the one that goes.
There's one person everyone knows who I always rave on about, and there's a guy called Calvin Phillips at Leeds.
Yes.
He'll do the job. He'll do the job. You know?
Very underrated player. Very underrated.
He's passing.
Love that.
Ridiculous.
Great shout.
Put a great pass actually for Bamford against us at Stamford Bridge. Left foot.
that.
Yeah, left foot from the left channel, passing
On the
behind
reverse, yeah.
Bamford, goal.
Took Zuma completely out the game.
Yeah, took him out the game. So listen, I don't really have a DM target myself, but this is why earlier in the season when I said Jorginho and Krover have the best partnership, even though Kante's the best player, and everyone shagged me, I said, listen, I didn't say they were the best players individually. I said the chemistry between Jorginho and Krover is stronger than any chemistry Kante has struck up between those two players. There's no, you need, in a duo in a midfield, if you've played the game, even a Sunday league, you play midfield, you need a relationship with your other man in midfield. It's a tango, it's a two, it's a dance. You need to have, you're playing in the heart of the pitch. It's not just about having an engine, it's about being aware. It's about having a communication and an understanding with your partner. It's like a marriage in there. You're on there, sink or swim. You need to be able to scan. You need to be able to know where your guy's going to be so you can play those one-touch quick passes out of the press. When we're pressed and a man don't know where his partner is, that's when you get shagged. And the point I was always trying to make on top of that is that this is where Mount comes in. When you play Jorginho and Krover, it's no surprise to me that Mason Mount's been playing as well, because you sacrifice that maybe the energy or the lack of mobility at times in transition. You replace that with Mason Mount. I remember at the start of the game, was it Newcastle? Jorginho was looking a bit off. Was it Newcastle or Sheffield United? But Jorginho was looking a bit off. Sheffield United. Jorginho was looking a bit off. Mason Mount got back, won the ball back. Cool. Do you see what I'm saying? You're making up for it. You've lost maybe some of Kante's engine, so then you replace it with Mount's engine off the ball to get the ball back and stuff like that. So for me, I'm not really. I'll keep saying it. The midfield is not perfect. I know we're winning games, but there's stuff in that midfield that is lacking. There's lacking a killer pass on a regular basis. There's a lack of like physicality in that midfield as well, in terms of just in terms of just winning your aerial duels on a consistent basis and just a bit of strength in there. There's a lack of that, and there's a lack of leadership. There's a lack of communication.
Oh, fuck! Someone said it. Yes,
There's a lack of leadership,
someone
bro.
said it.
How many midfielders have we gone through at Chelsea? Your Lampards, your Ballaps, Makaleles. Where's the leadership in the midfield? Even Mikel, bro.
There's no fucking leadership in the team.
There's no leadership.
There's
no
no
leadership. There's no leadership. So when the going gets tough, like I said, I know we're on a good run right now, but when it gets to the pinnacle of European football, which is what we're trying to get back to, we're not there yet, because we need more in there. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're lacking a few things and we need to go and address it. But yeah,
I feel like Jorginho brings a little bit of some
on
kind
the
of,
ball, but not off the ball.
But he's always, not off the ball, but he's always telling players where to be. You should be here and blah,
He's
blah.
a lot better leadership-wise than Kante is for certain.
Yeah, Kante's
certainty.
I think we've heard people say many a times that Kante's a silent player, innit? He's not really a leader, but he's just gonna. How can I say?
Baffled me that he got given the captain.
He leads with his play. He's one of those that leads by the way that he plays.
Yeah. I think the ultimate leader in that team obviously is Thiago Silva. I mean, I couldn't believe when obviously the free draw against West Brom, those people criticized like, why did we give Thiago Silva the armband? But I'm like, bruv, like he's one of the greatest leaders in whatever team you put him in. He's a leader
Damn
of that
straight.
team. Like,
Mm.
doesn't matter, you know. I don't know. To me, he's the ultimate leader and should be the person with the armband in that team. Although I like Aspi, but I feel like Thiago Silva is a better leader than Aspilicueta, innit?
But I love, and I'm going to kind of make this a final point, if you will. I don't know, but we've lacked leadership for so long in every area of the pitch. Every area of the pitch. In defence, we've got Dave at the moment, Thiago Silva, great, superb. Midfield, we've got Jorginho, but you can't cover for how slow he is. I'd go and get someone else in. Calvin Phillips shows a little bit of leadership qualities, so it makes complete sense to me. But going back to what the whole stream was about, which is Erling Haaland, leader. We talk about the spine of the team that we had for so many years. They're all leaders. Although they haven't all got the armband, they're all leaders right the way through the middle of the team. Haaland could be your one up front. Centre midfielder, I mean, you could make it into Calvin Phillips, whoever it be. Declan Rice, I'd have loved because he has got leadership qualities. Centre half still need a leader because I still think that's a big area we can improve in for certainty. And Mendy, to be fair, I don't know if he's a leader as such, but he shows certain leadership qualities. Probably needs to English probably needs to improve a little bit to it until he can elevate to that level. But we are dying out for bloody leadership in this team and have been for absolutely years. And a lot of the people that we're saying about bringing in, you know, like, oh, should we go and spend? I saw 100 million on Sancho. Sancho's not a leader. He's not a leader. He might be a good footballer, but he's not a leader. If you're talking between the two of them, Erling Haaland, who is 19 years of age, and he shows people all the time what he wants to do. His leadership skills might be done for his feet, but also you can see how much he cares. The way that he shrugs people off the ball. I had the highlights up when you were talking about Tees. For the first goal, the one he got the assist for, the way he shrugs people off the ball, like they're not even there. It's not only about him scoring goals and keeping that record. He'll lead through that. But you can see the energy and the work rate and the determination he has. And also another big thing that probably go underrated is actually how they score, I think, at the end, Sevilla. But he's back defending a set piece. That's what Drogba used to do. That's what you should be able to do as a centre forward. We lack height. We lack leadership. We lack a little bit of brute force. All these things. And they're all things that Erling Haaland can do. Sign the fucking game.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Sign him.
Do you know what we say in terms of we lack height, but we haven't really conceded goals from, you know, aerial positions this season. I think we've done quite well with that.
We've done all right at the back, but in terms of scoring them, when we're scoring from corners, without Zuma, I mean, we're non-existent.
I mean, when you got, you know, this is no diss, but Tammy Abraham, like even the other day against Newcastle, we had a completely free header. I mean, it has to be one of the worst people in the air. Considering his height, he's horrible. Like he's absolutely shocking. Like
6'3". You've got 2 inches on everyone else, pretty much, and you still haven't been able to hit the target with it. If you don't score, okay, maybe it's a good save. Hit the fucking target for God's sake, please.
He can't.
I think I'm hoping that Tammy improves that aspect of his game. He's obviously still quite young, so I'm hoping as he fills out as well. Because he is quite a slender guy, that when he fills out in the future that he manages to fill out. It'll be interesting to see who goes out of Tammy or Giroud. I think I would personally say keep Tammy because obviously younger and I think
Giroud is gone.
Yeah, you'd hope. Yeah, and also I'd expect Giroud to go anyway, just to see out his career with minutes. And Tammy's obviously, you know, a reliable backup. He can get goals against the majority of the league and whatnot, and he's going to improve. But obviously his contract situation is not clear. But for me, just back to the midfield thing, this is why Tuchel was needed, because Tuchel off the bench is bringing leadership and bringing communication that is lacking on the pitch, so he's making up for it. And then on top of that as well, just the organisation in terms of the way that we counter press is needed with this midfield. We've seen this midfield at its best and we've seen it at its worst. When this midfield is organised and this midfield is drilled and it's got the counter press in place and it understands what it should be doing at all times, then it's a good midfield and it can win games. Whether it can do it at the top level, probably not. Semi-finals, finals of Champions Leagues, I ain't seen it. We didn't see it because Sarri we had Europa League football, Lampard Champions League, and that what was it? We had Champions League, but we went out against, who did we go out against?
Last season, the Bayern.
Bayern Munich, yeah. So
Put on to
exactly, there you go, exactly what I'm talking about, right? So we went out against a top team, and then this season we'll see where we go. So everyone's saying that this midfield is calm now. I'll agree with you if we do bits in the Champions League, because until then it's not calm. You know what I'm saying? So
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's doing a job.
With the right organisation and structure, it's doing very well. And I think Tuchel's helped with that, and Thiago Silva's been huge as well. But it's hard as well, because I don't think we're going to stick to this formation next season or like the whole time. I think we could potentially see a change. Tuchel doesn't stick to one formation usually has a few options. So I don't even want to get bogged down in what we're seeing right now. I'm just focused on this season, secure top 4, secure the bag, and then whatever decisions he feels he needs to make, obviously the board will make the final decision, but we'll see where it goes. It's very hard to predict right now who stays and who goes and stuff like that.
Exactly that. As a final question before we wrap this up, who is it? Los Colchoneros wanted to ask about the Atletico game anyway, and I'm sure we've all gone through a couple times, so I'm not going to ask you lot for too much. But with the Southampton game in mind as well, how much rotation, if any, do you see for the Southampton game, and what team would you like to see show up for the Atletico match? Monster, we'll start with you.
I don't think much is going to change. I do see Thiago Silva possibly coming in. I saw the videos of him and Kai Havertz training. So I see Thiago Silva coming in a centre-back position, possibly over Christensen. Apart from that, probably Giroud will now be playing over Tammy if Tammy's not fit. And that's really it, to be honest. I don't really see anyone else getting in the team right now. I would like to see Kai play with Werner up front. But maybe you might see it in the Southampton game leading up to the Atletico game, maybe. But for some reason, I just feel Giroud will play.
It would make more sense for Giroud to play in that match as well. And I don't really see Kai Havertz playing, mainly because it doesn't make sense straight after an injury, you throw him straight into a big match against one of the best teams in the world either. It's another one where I don't expect to see too many changes, because I feel like the last 5 or 6 games leading up to this Atletico game have been dress rehearsals, because you've been facing very similar teams in the way they set up and the way they approach games. So I don't expect to see too many changes personally. But Matisse as well, what's your thoughts?
Listen, this ain't no joke, Southampton. I know they're on 6 defeats in a row, but let's not kid ourselves. We are very much Robin Hood FC and Charity FC when it comes to this shit. So I'm not trying to see no surprises. I'm not trying to play no games. I'm taking every Premier League game so seriously. We have Man United coming up after that as well. We need to we're in the top 4, cool. We need to be in, and I mean secured. Because if you look at the last 5 fixtures in the Premier League, it's peak. Yep. Man City, Arsenal, Everton. I'm not here to play no games. Serious season is on. We've had a whole week, basically, Monday to Saturday. That's a good amount of time. These players are professional footballers. They should be able to handle a little bit of fixture congestion every now and then. It shouldn't be every single time there's a game every 3 or 4 days. You have to rotate the whole team. So I'm not trying to see wholesale changes. I don't think I'd bring back Silva for the Southampton one, because I just want him 100% ready for Atletico. Atletico is going to be a bloodbath, bro. That's Suarez and co. That's 1 defeat all season in the La Liga. That's Diego Simeone's dogs. That's not no game. So I think if we can't get through Southampton without Silva, then I don't know what to say. But we should be able to. So Silva's needed for that Atletico game. So I'll keep Silva wrapped up. He's 36. Do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't risk it, because you want him to play against Atletico in a few days' time. That's the only person I wouldn't bring back. It's a shame Kai's not ready, because I've speaking about on an earlier stream, I would have loved to have seen Kai potentially false 9 with Timo just off of him and to try it against Southampton. But then Drew probably starts because Kai's only just come back. True, I didn't even know what was wrong with Kai, because no one was telling us in the press conference his brother could be injured, kidnapped, for all we know. Who knows? Something. They don't give us no information. It's like they try to keep it MI5. So for me, I would keep it mostly the same. Timo, probably Mount, same pivot, same back 3 that you've been going with. Christensen's been playing well. Keep him in there. Make sure that he's playing out from the back, ball playing ability. Southampton probably might come onto us a bit more than the other teams, although it's hard to tell because they're on such a bad run. They might just park the bus, but you might get a bit more space in behind. For me, don't make too many changes. There's only a couple players that you might take in, take out. But apart from that, I'll keep most things the same, to be honest, because I'm just trying to... I think if you go into that Atletico game after pissing up Southampton and dropping points, that's worse. So you need to win this game. And then if you can get it wrapped up comfortably before 70 minutes, then make your changes, then go into Atletico and win. Only W's. I'm not on the game. I'm not on the game team.
I'm right. W's only. Craigo, I know we've already delved deep into it, but any final thoughts based on the Atletico Madrid game too?
Go and win the Southampton one. I mean, continue momentum. I keep saying trend in the right direction. Continue to trend. Don't fuck around with anything stupid. Yeah, I mean, Thiago Silva, I understand if he's 50-50, don't bother, just keep him ready to go for the Atletico game. But Southampton are a weird side at the moment. They could be great, they could be crap. So go and win the game. Don't leave anything to chance. Just go and win the game and do our thing. Because, I mean, now it's the end of the season. It's pretty much 14 cup finals. What do we say? 8 out of 14 takes us to...
8 out of 14 takes us over the points total for last season.
Go and win them. Go and win them. That's the bottom line. Go and win it.
Damn right.
That comparison was a bit silly as well. That's like comparing Hazard to Drogba. That don't make no sense.
That one was just probably based on generational talent v generational.
Oh, okay, right.
Another one of those ones where it's like they're two players out of position.
Different players. Yeah, they're different players. It's not really fair to judge players in different positions.
Yeah, Loki, I was hoping like we could have like this entire run of just generational talents balling out the Champions League. You got Mbappe one game, Haaland the next game, and potentially Kai Havertz next week, but there's barely any chance that we're going to see that happen. Fingers crossed. So, but guys, this is the end of yet another live stream. First one we've done since wasn't that long. Was it a few days ago? Or was it just the last video I've done? I don't care. First stream we've done in over 24 hours. So, guys, big up the panel as well. Links to all these guys' channels are all in the title. So, guys, check it out and smash the like and subscribe button. Get everyone their respective goals and way further forward as well because we're all shining right now. Rising tide lifts all ships. You already know. So, guys, smash the like and subscribe button. Check out all the panel as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Premier League. Is it Premier League Pandemonium or am I changing the name?
Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah.
But there's going to be a Premier League show tomorrow. So, guys, check that out as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys very soon. Take care and up the Chelsea.